Chido Obi is out of the Europa League squad. Fabrizio Romano confirms that Manchester United's interest in Victor Osimhen is genuine, but how likely is that deal? Andre Onana wants to stay despite United looking for a new goalkeeper. Real Betis wants to make Antony's loan move permanent as other clubs join the race for his signature. Links with Zubimendi and Sporting forward Trincão, plus more cuts by Sir Jim. All this plus more in today's video as we run through all the latest Manchester United news and transfer news that will keep you right up to date with everything. Welcome to Man United Review. My name's Jamie. Before we get into it, smash a like on the video and let's jump straight into it. So first of all, give us your thoughts. How are you feeling around the match and the performance yesterday? It sucks right now, doesn't it? Let's be truthful. It absolutely sucks at the moment to be a Man United fan. We're just, we can't seem to do anything. Like, it's really kind of concerning because, there's just such a lack of quality everywhere. Lack of quality, lack of simple things, can't do the basics, can't pass properly, there's no intensity, and I just felt we went out of the cup with a little bit of a whimper. We're largely boring. I don't think Fulham were particularly good neither as well. And, our forwards are just not good enough. And I think it makes the rest of the defence and stuff nervous because, one mistake at the back, which we're prone to making and have done all season, and it's effectively game over because it's just no confidence in us scoring goals. And it's just really, it is what it is. Like, there's no point. Like, I'm sick of moaning about it and complaining about it. I've come to terms with the fact that we are shit. And nothing's really going to change this season because I can't see the players getting any better. We've got players that have been here for a lot of years and they're not Man United quality, never were, never will be, and we just need a hope that we can kind of move them on in the summer. But on a positive perspective, I thought De Ligt had a Warriors performance. I thought Bruno was good. I thought Lenny Yoro was excellent as well. Xerxes, I felt, even though he missed the penalty, ran himself into the ground as well, worked his socks off. If there was times at the end of extra time when he's chasing and winning the ball back and trying, and I liked his attitude. I thought Aiden Heaven was good when he came on as well. Nice to see him make his debut. And Chido Obi, still raw, very inexperienced. You could see that in his game. He had a 20-minute spell when he first came on that he didn't really touch the ball, but really grew into the game after that once he got a few touches and got a bit of confidence. And you can see what we've been missing all season up front. The movement, the positioning, his attitude towards defenders as well, I really, really liked. So I'm not going to over-egg the pudding. He's still a 17-year-old, very raw player. But the difference was night and day between him and Højlund. That was evident, I think, for anyone with half an eye to see. And then the negatives for me, Rasmus Højlund is not doing it, is he? Just not doing it. And then to make it worse, when you're not doing it and you're then trying back heels and giving the ball away as well, you're like, come on, just keep things simple. You're not doing yourself any favours. I thought Dalot was poor as well. I know he got an assist, but otherwise awful going forward, kept cutting back inside. Garnacho came on and was, really, I felt frustrating. He was trying to do his best and doing bits, but again, decision-making and glory hunting when you just need that little bit of composure in front of the box. But, frustrating to be out of the cup. Our season's been... It's so bad. That's us definitely no Europa League football next season anyway. And it's just a shit season, isn't it? It's just been a really, really shit season. There's no other way to kind of explain it. The general feeling I have about United at the moment, let me know if you agree with this in the comments, right? It just feels to me like it's the perfect storm at the moment of shitness where, the financial abuse from the Glazers is hitting us really hard. The inability to build any sort of effective squad over the last decade. And we've still got, a zombie squad where we've still got players that Van Gaal signed in the squad, is hitting us. The poor recruitment, the overpaying of wages, the bad decisions by Ineos coming in as well with keeping Ten Hag, sacking Ten Hag, Dan Ashworth, the fact that they're sacking everybody, lowering the morale around the club and just really kind of demotivating, I think, staff and people behind the scenes, going with Amorim halfway through a season in a completely different direction, knowing full well that we don't have the players to play that kind of system and stuff. So the decision making from Ineos has been poor. Obviously, Amram himself's not exactly covering himself in glory neither as well. The players can't score. We're making mistakes at the back. Like the entire thing is like a perfect storm of shitness where everything just seems to be happening all at once, doesn't it? And that's how I kind of feel about United. It is not just one problem. There's a multiple. There's multiple problems that all just seem to be coming to roost all at the same time. And I just genuinely hope we get it out of our system this season and can start again next season. Injuries is another one as well. Look how many injuries we've had to key players. Ahmad getting injured, massive blow. Martinez, I'm not even going to mention Mountain Shaw because they're always injured anyway. But, like the perfect combination of just everything going wrong all at the same time. That's how I kind of feel about United at the moment. But get involved in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the game and the performance. And just to kind of go through some of the stats of Garnacho and Højlund. Garnacho scored 0 goals in his last 21 games. Højlund, 0 goals in his last 18 games as well. We do not have good forwards at United. I know they're young and raw and developmental and stuff, but that's poor by any young player's standards, I think, to play that many games and have that little goal contributions. And then they're not the only ones, but yeah, massive barren run in front of goals for those two particular players. And then Chido Obi had 3 big chances in 52 minutes today. For comparison, Rasmus Højlund has had 3 big chances in 22 Premier League matches this season. And I don't think it was a creativity problem as well, because I still felt there were spells where Chido was in good positions, wasn't getting given the ball, but his movement, his determination and stuff, he was making things happen himself. He was, he's not a player that's going to get the ball from the halfway line, take on 5 players and smash it into the top corner, but there is an argument to say about his movement and his determination way better than Højlund's already, and he's only 17-year-old. Ruben Amram had the following to say regarding him. So Chido, very good moves, a lot to improve, a bit naive, but a very good day for Chido, less so for the team. And I agree with Amram. Actually, is a little bit raw, loads to kind of development in, and let's not over egg the pudding when it comes to Chido. But it's still better than what we've been seeing for most of the season from Højlund up front. And then on Chido, Manchester United would not be able to select Chido Obi for the Europa League campaign for the remainder of the season after he was not included in their revised squad list for the competition. Now that came from Rich Fay. Someone let me know though in the comments, right? Because I couldn't find this online, but is it not, you don't have to register them that under 18 years old? Let me know if I'm right or if I'm wrong in the comments, but I'm kind of quite on the fence around that one. Obviously, if it's true, and Rich Fay's a decent source, so I've got no reason to kind of doubt it. But is it not different for under 18s where you don't have to register them? Or is that different for the Europa League? I'm not entirely sure. Let me know in the comments if you know it, because I'd really appreciate it if you can let us know down below. And then Aiden Evan, I thought had a good game as well when he came on. So despite the unfortunate results, I'm glad to have made my debut for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Hopefully many more to come. He posted that on his Instagram as well. And shout out to, Aiden Evan. I thought he didn't put a foot wrong when he came on as well. But overall, it is what it is, isn't it? We're just shit. We can't score goals. I think we can't stop conceding goals either. And there's just not really much going on, is there, for United? We're a very stale, boring, no pace. And it was just went out of the FA Cup with a bit of a whimper, in my opinion. But let's move on to the transfer news. So the interest in Victor Osimhen is there, but United still do not know how much they can spend this summer. There is nothing advanced or concrete at this stage. Despite the rumours, the player will not reduce his wages. Now, that came from Fabrizio Romano. 2 things I take away from that. So firstly, genuine interest in Victor Osimhen. So I was saying this before. I do think the interest is there because there's too much smoke for there not to be any fires. However, United don't know what budget they've got. And also the player will not reduce his wages. And I mentioned it, that broke it down in the video the other day for those who watched. He's on around £10 million a season net, so that's after tax. For us to be able to do that with the tax system in the UK and stuff, we'd have to pay him 350 grand a week. With no European football, potentially a league position will have an impact on the finances and everything else going on. I don't think we're going to go anywhere near that contract because we've got so many other areas of the squad that we need to improve. That's a big chunk of our budget for one player, and I for that reason I think we're going to be out. But clear interest. Obviously, if we did do a madness and we did sell some players, that could then free up the funds to get Osimhen in his release clause. But it's the wages, I think, that will cause a big problem. We don't want to go and pay in those 350 grand a week contracts because, we've got evidence in the squad. I'm going to mention, another one in a second around that's potentially going to be trapped in by the big contract that we've given them. And it needs to end. It needs to end. We need to be able to sell players and move players on that are not performing. And the one reason we can't do that, or one of the reasons why we can't do that United, is because they're trapped in a big wage. We pay them way more than what their probably market value is, so they can't move to, or don't want to move to other clubs because we've given them that contract, and then we can't get rid of them, and then you're stuck with them, and it creates this whole kind of mess that we're in at the moment. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. Manchester United are eyeing a summer move to rival Arsenal and Liverpool for the signing of Real Sociedad's Martin Zubimendi. That came from Give Me Sport. I think he'd be a great player to kind of bring in the midfield alongside Ugarte. But again, it goes back to what we've just mentioned, the financial situation and the budget and stuff like that as well. I can't see us having these sort of funds available to go out and get these sort of players. I think it's more likely and more realistic that we're going to go for unknown players, or like lesser known players, or maybe younger profile of players like Naipan, players like that are not going to break the bank, not going to be on expensive wages, but might also develop going forward. That's the kind of profile I think we're going to go, or some kind of random unknown midfielder from, the Austrian league, or from, South Africa or South America, something like that is the way I think they're going to kind of go down. I think that's more realistic in the summer than players like Zubimendi, as good as he would be for United. But that's just my personal opinion. And Manchester United and Manchester City are looking at Francisco Trincão. Sporting want to renew his contract. He has an €80 million release clause that came from Ebola. Good Portuguese outlet, specifically when it comes to Portuguese players. But again, I think we're going to get linked with a lot of Sporting players. We need to prepare ourselves for that one. 80 million release clause goes back to what we just mentioned about wages and salary and budget and European football. All of that kind of stuff is massively going to impact our summer transfer window unless we sell players and do a madness there, which, is possible. I do think we're going to have funds available in the summer just through default. We've got 8 players. Well, we've got 7 or 8 players that we potentially could move on. Some of them on big wages. Some might be like Rashford's homegrown as well. That's going to be a good amount of profit for us as well. We've got buy on, sell on clauses for like Greenwood and all this stuff, so that we might be okay this summer. It's just, like I said, the wages and stuff as well. That kind of felt to me a little bit like agent talk as well, where he's trying to get a new contract. Let's link him with Manchester United, who obviously we've got Amrim, and Manchester City, who their sporting director's just about to take over with as well. More likely, I think, maybe City, but would be a good player. 40 appearances this season, 9 goals at 13 assists, would play in that kind of inside right 10 position. Very creative, very good player, and obviously has a relationship with Amarim. I would want to see a bit more credibility is what I'm going to say regarding that one, but let me know what you think in the comments. Andre Onana is intent on staying at Manchester United next season despite his struggling form. Ruben Amorim wants to sign a new goalkeeper in the summer, but Onana considers United be the only club he wishes to play for. United are expecting to recruit a new keeper for Amorim. Amorim's first full campaign, as Tom Heaton is likely to retire when his contract expires in June. Altay Bayenda's future could lie elsewhere should he seek more playing time before the World Cup. Now, that came from Samuel Lucas, effectively saying that Onana wants to stay, and this will go back to what I just mentioned as well. He's on 120 grand a week at United. We doubled his wages, I think, from 60 at Inter to 120. Still got 3 years left on his contract. Is this going to be the position? But I do think that we are looking at a goalkeeper, maybe someone younger, up and coming, that's going to be a lot cheaper, who could still maybe force Onana out of the squad if we can't sell him and if he doesn't want to go. And Samuel Lucas, he can be a shit stirrer, but he is connected at the club. That's why he's so annoying. But we'll have to wait and see how that kind of develops. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. Now, coincidentally, we have then been linked with another goalkeeper. So Manchester United are studying the market for a new goalkeeper and have identified AC Milan's Mike Maignan. If Andre Onana leaves United this summer, a move for Maignan could become a concrete possibility. Again, I think we're going to get links with a lot of goalkeepers because I think there is a bit of clickbait going on in the media personally, not from the most credible source as well. So Milan Live via Sport Witness. I'm going to say let's take that with a pinch of salt and wait for a bit more credibility. But again, would be a good goalkeeper if that report's to be believed. If it is true, would be a decent option to kind of bring in, but would be expensive and with the wage and wages. And then we have the whole kind of budget issue, don't we? That's going to be the kind of determining factor, I think, for the summer, is how much money we actually have available. And that might depend on player sales, but then who's going to want some of the United players as well? Do you know what I mean? It is just so up in the air at the moment. But one player that we could look to sell would be Antony. So Real Betis are looking to open talks with Manchester United in the coming days over a permanent deal for Antony. Betis are set to offer 20 to 25 million euros, but United want at least 40 to 50 million euros, along with Real Betis, Juventus, and 2 Saudi Pro League clubs are also interested in signing Antony. That's good news for us because, you know, if we could get the more teams we have bidding for Antony, the better it is for us, because that just means we can get a bit more money out of it, and then that frees up some of the wiggle room with PSR for the summer. He's obviously doing brilliantly since he went there as well. Found his kind of mojo, found his league, found his form, whatever the kind of reason why he was so shit at United. It's clearly something to either do with the club, the atmosphere, United itself, England, the Premier League. Something's kind of happened, because he's kind of way he's actually been outstanding since he went to Real Betis, and long may that continue as well. That's only good for us. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. And then the final story I've got for you is regarding more cuts by Ineos. So Manchester United are exploring an early termination from a 10-year lease agreement at their London offices in Kensington, while downsizing at their current office is also being considered. Moving out entirely 2 years into the agreement is the most likely course of action. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has decided that the vast majority of Manchester United staff should be based in Manchester, and that the club's current 223,000 square foot London office is deemed to be too large and expensive. So that came from Matt Hughes, where they're going to be effectively making some more cuts on their leases. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. That happens all the time in businesses. If you're leasing a building and it's not fit for purpose anymore and it's a massive outlay, then you try and terminate that and move your staff to somewhere different as well. Whether that's going to, you know, fund our summer transfer window, I highly doubt, but it's just more penny pinching from Ineos, where they are literally looking to squeeze every single penny of saving that they can do, which just kind of goes back to what I was saying, the perfect storm, making all these cutbacks because of the financial mess that we're in. Let's just hope that there's a means to an end with all of these kind of cost cuttings, where we can actually do something in the summer and you know, get some players in for Amrin, because my God, we're lacking so much quality in so many areas in the squad, that we do need to bring in a few players in the summer. But let me know what you think about that in the comments. Let me know what you think about all the other topics discussed in today's video, because that's you all up to date with the latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Don't forget to smash a like on the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. See you in the next one.